If you think about it, Donald Trump's general incompetency as leader or president of the United States is not something that is unforeseeable. If you look at his career, um, it actually tells you that this is a person who's not going to be very good at having a coherent strategy. He's not going to be a very good strategist, and he's not capable of innovating. If you look at his history and some of the personality quirks that he has, such as supposedly enjoying well done steak with ketchup, um, you can tell that this is actually going to be an inevitability. I remember finding on Amazon when I was looking through different translations of the Analects, there was this one man, and he was very old. He was in his retirement age, and his whole career had been business, finances, economics. He was a professor at one point in a business school. At another point, he was in the industry, and so his whole life was about that. And then once he retires, he decides he wants to be a Confucian scholar. And of course, predictably, he wasn't able to really do that. If you look at his translation, he equivocates being a lord with being a boss. So some of these, analects where you're being encouraged to have to be faithful or to be loyal or hardworking with regards to your Lord is translated as, you asking yourself, have you done your best for your boss? But of course, those are not equivalent situations, right? If you have a Lord, if you look at how monarchies actually function, that's a real loyalty. If you have a employer, that's a very temporary situation, right? So he wasn't able to make that transition. Because, in fact, what you devote your life to is ultimately who you are, and that's the kind of thing that you can't escape. So when we look at Donald Trump, what we see is a guy, look at his career, he's done real estate development, he's done casinos, he's done reality TV shows, and he's done beauty pageants. Okay. And none of those were innovative. All right, those are pre-existing products that he put his name on, and the one thing that he's really great at is promoting. If he was promoting um, a promoter in the WWE, or if he was promoting something else, a TV show, he would just do great at that. And the thing about democracy is that you win if you can promote yourself very well, and that's what he did. He did that very well. Okay. And because that's actually how, in fact, um, you could say arguably, especially American politics work for various reasons, but really democracy in general works. That if you hype people up and then you promote yourself, then you can win. It's not actually a great surprise that this kind of person could win, but can he lead? That's a different question. And the answer is no. I mean, this is a time where America is falling apart. So you actually do need strategically coherent vision. You actually do need the ability to innovate. And this is a person who has really never innovated in his life, you know? So if you look at a lot of his decisions, it's like he's walking into the restaurant as a wealthy man, which of course he was born wealthy, and he's walking in and he's just trying to order right off the menu. And this is the kind of person who doesn't, really listen to the chef as an expert. He's not really going for the pre-free menu or the tasting menu where it's all kind of laid out in a particular kind of order with particular kind of nuances. He's going in there, he's ordering steak well done, he's ordering ketchup, and he's just ordering that right off the menu, whatever he wants. And he gets it because the restaurant's already set up with that expertise and infrastructure in mind to be able to do that. And he thinks he could do that. The problem is with if your polity, your empire, um, your state is already in in the middle of collapsing, it's already dysfunctional, you cannot take that sort of attitude. You cannot take that sort of approach. So right now, if you look at it, none of his strategy and goals seem to be really coherent. In fact, a lot of the strategies are cannibalizing each other, and that's a discussion worth another time. But they're basically eating each other up, and he can't really see that, and so he's just jumping from one idea to the other. You know, Canada's a 51st state, Greenland as a state. Um, Cuba, and then he starts this whole thing with Iran, even though they're actually very sophisticated in their ability, not only their technology, but their ability to think uh, strategically. All of that is, or very his very incompetent attempts at dealing with unlawful immigration. Um, all of this is just very incoherent and it's all over the place, and they are getting in the way of each other. And that's something that actually shouldn't be surprising if you actually look at his career history.